What else?
Your guy last night drives it against Jokic. Jokic makes zero contact with him. LeBron makes the layup. Okay, no foul called. And then he falls to the ground, writhing in pain. The problem, of course, with the faker is that he wasn't sure which arm to grab, which arm was hurting him.
LeBron James drove to the basket, finished the layup, heard no whistle, and then suddenly hit the floor like someone had shot him from the parking lot.
Played a big role, 16 points. James gets inside for the deuce and he lands awkwardly.
The problem? He couldn't remember which arm was supposed to be injured, so he grabbed both of them. The entire arena watched. Nobody was fooled. And somehow this man still expects to be taken seriously every single night. So be honest. At this stage of his career, is LeBron's flopping just a habit he can't break? Or is it a calculated strategy to force referees into calling fouls? Let us know what you think in the comments.
So he goes to the ground, no foul called, but the bucket counted. By the way, they lost to the Nuggets because they always lose to the Nuggets, right?
Nuggets are better.
Yeah, they are better.
Nuggets are better.
And your guy's now writhing on the floor in pain. He grabs his right elbow, and then he's like, maybe it wasn't that one. So then he grabs his left elbow, and then it wasn't that one. So then one of the guys comes over to try to help him up. He yells, "Oh, my elbow!"
Let's rewind the moment. LeBron James drives toward the basket against Nikola Jokic. He reaches the rim. He makes the layup. And here's the key detail. There is zero contact from Jokic. Not a bump. Not a graze. Not even a strong exhale in LeBron's direction. So naturally, no foul is called. Because there was no foul to call. And then LeBron James, 40 years old, for championships, and widely considered one of the greatest players ever, suddenly collapses to the floor, writhing around like he just took a fastball to the ribs. Now look, players exaggerate contact sometimes. That's part of basketball. It has been for decades. Annoying? Yes. Shocking? Not exactly.
Still don't know where he got hurt to the point that caused this reaction. I think he faking, bro. I just called it. I called it. He reached for one arm and then reached for the other arm, so he just grabbed both of them. He didn't know which one to play it off with, so he grabbed both of them. Look at him.
But here's where things get almost artistically bad. LeBron reaches for his right elbow and grabs it. He holds it. Then suddenly, he seems to reconsider. Maybe it wasn't the right elbow. So he grabs the left one. Okay, left elbow. That must be it. Except, maybe it isn't that one either. Now both arms are involved in the performance. A teammate runs over to help him up. And LeBron yells with full dramatic commitment. My elbow. Which elbow, LeBron? Because at that moment, the entire arena was still trying to figure that out.
And they take him to the bench, and no one's paying him any mind, of course, because everyone knows he's faking.
Nothing.
And then he comes right back on the court like 10 seconds later.
Thank God he's all right.
Yeah. Oh!
You know, I was definitely worried about LeBron.
Yo, it's so comical now that he don't even try to hide it. Yo, flopping on the ground like a flounder. Yo, not sure which arm to grab, so he grabs both of them. Does that, can't get up. Oh, my elbow.
Then eventually he's helped to the bench. The training staff checks on him. The broadcast cuts away. The crowd is still processing what they just saw. And then, about 10 seconds later, something incredible happens. LeBron James jogs right back onto the court. Completely recovered. The elbow emergency that had him flopping around seconds earlier has apparently vanished. By the way, the Los Angeles Lakers still lost that game to the Denver Nuggets. Which, lately, has become a bit of a pattern.
The Lakers end up the 6th seed. And Denver ends up the 3. Then they get Denver in the first round again. They're going home. They're not beating the Denver Nuggets. I can assure you that. They're not beating the Denver Nuggets. I don't care what anybody says, okay?
The relationship between the Nuggets and the Lakers over the past few years can be summarized very simply. Denver wins. Not every single time, but often enough that it feels like a structural problem rather than just bad luck. The Nuggets have been the better team. And Nikola Jokic has consistently been the better player when it comes to impacting winning basketball. The scoreboard usually proves it. But the flopping moment matters because, eventually, these things stop being isolated incidents. They turn into reputation. And LeBron has been building that reputation long enough that it's now part of how people watch his games. When he falls to the floor today, a lot of fans don't react with concern. They react with skepticism. And moments like grabbing both elbows, screaming about an injury, and then returning to the game seconds later are exactly why that skepticism exists.
This is your king. This is your GOAT. A dude that is so desperate for attention. A dude that is so desperate to be noticed that he pretends to be hurt. He can't get back on defense after a made shot because he fell on his arm and got a boo-boo? And I struggle to say LeBron James got a boo-boo because all he did was softly fall to the ground.
Here's what makes this whole thing especially frustrating. LeBron doesn't need to do it. This is a four-time champion. One of the greatest players in basketball history. His legacy is already secure. He owns the scoring record. His assist numbers are elite. And his longevity, still playing at this level at 40 years old, is almost unheard of. So why the theater? The debate about LeBron flopping has followed him for most of his career. His supporters always have explanations. They say he's big and strong, so referees don't call enough fouls. They say superstars exaggerate contact all the time. They say he just gets more attention because he's LeBron. And sure, some of that makes sense. But none of it explains grabbing both arms, being unsure which one hurts, leaving the court dramatically, and then returning moments later like nothing happened. At that point it stops being frustrating. And starts becoming almost comedic. Almost. Because while the acting was happening, the scoreboard was still telling the real story. The Lakers lost. You can't flop your way to a win. Meanwhile, Nikola Jokic, who barely even reacted to the play, walked away with another victory. Jokic represents the opposite style. He plays physical basketball. He dominates games. And he rarely ends up on the floor unless someone actually knocks him down. No theatrics. Just results. And that contrast is a big reason the Nuggets have repeatedly had the Lakers' number in recent. But while LeBron's flop became the headline, something else in the NBA this week actually deserves. A rookie named Kaman Malawak is rapidly becoming the front-runner for Rookie of the Year. The fourth pick in the draft out of Duke, he was mostly overlooked early in the season because all the attention went to top pick Cooper Flagg. Flagg has had a strong rookie year. But Malawak's impact with the Charlotte Hornets has been impossible to ignore. The Hornets have suddenly gone on a run, winning multiple games by huge margins and becoming one of the most surprising teams in the league. With LaMelo Ball running the offense and Brandon Miller emerging as a 20-point scorer, Charlotte has quietly become competitive again. And Malawak has been the driving force. Meanwhile, the next generation of NBA stars, players like Victor Wembanyama, seem far less interested in the performance art of flopping and far more focused on simply dominating games. Which brings us back to LeBron. His legacy is undeniable. But moments like the elbow incident are now permanently part of the story too. King James. King of the flop. Both reputations exist. One built over 20 years of greatness. The other built from moments like Tuesday night against the Nuggets, when he made a layup, fell to the floor for no reason, grabbed the wrong elbow, then the other one, and returned to the game seconds later like nothing happened. The NBA contains multitudes. Apparently, so do LeBron's elbows. So now the question goes to you. King James, or King of the Flop? Drop your take in the comments. And if you enjoyed the breakdown, hit the like button and subscribe for more NBA stories like this.